Hello again. Today I want to talk about the minor 7 flat 5, or the half diminished chord as it's also called. It's used in jazz quite a bit, a little bit of blues, but it's got a kind of an unresolved kind of sound to it. But we're gonna talk about how the chord is built, a little bit of theory today. Nothing that's gonna stress your brain too much, but just the basics so you can understand how the chord is built and how it functions, and then we'll show you how to play one position of it and one voicing of it, and how to use it in a progression, very simple jazz progression. So we're going to start off with a little bit of music theory. Like I said, nothing too scary, but basics. We're going to start off with a major scale, the D major scale. Okay, so if you're familiar with how scales are built, you've got your root note, and then you build off of there. And for a major scale, you actually go from a D, you go up a whole tone, and then another whole tone, which would give you an F sharp, and then a half tone, then you've got a whole tone, another whole tone step, and then a half tone back to your octave. Okay? That's how you build the major scale. Alright, so today we're going to be playing with a minor chord, so we want to figure out how to build that. We have to play with the minor scale. And what we're going to use is the natural minor scale today. There's actually three minor scales. You've got your natural minor, your harmonic minor, and your melodic minor. So we're going to use the natural minor scale today to build this. Now, once you have a major scale, it's very simple to build a minor scale. And all you have to do is you have to flatten your third, your fifth, or I'm sorry, your third, your sixth, and your seventh. And if you're not sure what the first, third, what that means, I'll explain that real quick. On your scale, you have your first position, which is your D, your root. So this is actually what they would call your 1. Your E would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then your D would actually be an 8, which is the octave. Okay? So you've got 7 notes in here. What you want to do is flatten your third, your sixth, and your seventh to make it a minor scale. So as we see, our third note would be an F sharp. We want to flatten that just a half step down, which would take it from F sharp to an F. So we would actually cross that off. Then your sixth is a B, so we're going to want to flatten that. To go from a B down a half step makes it a B flat. Okay, so we'll give it a little flat there. And then the seventh is a C sharp. We want to flatten that down. So we take C sharp, if you go down, end up with a C. So now we have what we would call D minor scale instead of the major. We flatten the third, the sixth, and the seventh. So now you have the D minor scale, so we can build this chord. Alright, so whenever you build a chord, chords are usually 3 notes or more, then they become an extended chord. For a D minor, you would have your first, your third, and your fifth, or D major would be first, third, and fifth. But your third position is going to tell you whether it's a major or minor chord. And we know this is flattened down, so only a semitone between 2 and 3. It's going to be a minor chord. So you have your D, which is your root. You're going to have the D. You're going to have your third, which is an F. And you're going to have your fifth, just like any other chord, which is on the D minor would be an A. So D, F, and A. If it was the D major, it would be D, F sharp, and A. So to have a minor 7 flat 5, we also have to add the seventh in there, which is an extended. Now it's an extended chord beyond the basic minor chord. And on the seventh position, we have a C. So to play the D minor 7 flat 5, or half diminished chord, you have 4 notes you're going to play: the D, the F, the A, and the C. And then except for this fifth is going to be flattened, which means we're going to have to play an A flat. Okay? So we're going to remember that A is going to go down an A flat. So let me show you on the guitar. I'll grab that and we'll explain how to play this. We're going to show you one position today, which is with the root on the A string, or the fifth string. Okay? So you're going to take your index finger. I'm going to put it on the 5th fret of the A string, if you can see this. That's your root. That's a D. Okay? And if you're familiar with bar chords, you would normally take your ring finger and put it on the 7th on the D string to give you your 5th. But like I said, we're flattening that A, and we're going to make it an A flat. doesn't sound very pretty yet, does it? Okay, so now you've diminished your fifth. That's why it's called a diminished, but it's not a fully diminished because the seventh doesn't quite get fully diminished. It still just stays flat. We'll explain that and then at the end, just briefly. We're not going to get too much into theory, like I said. So you now have index finger, 5th fret, A string, ring finger, the 6th fret of the D string. You take your middle finger and you're going to put that on the 5th fret of the G string, which now gives you your C note, which is your 7th. And then you're going to take your little finger and put it on the 6th fret of the B string, which now gives you your minor 3rd, which is the F. So there, that would be a D minor 7 flat 5. Alright, it's got, as you can hear it, it's definitely got that jazz feel to it. And that would be the D minor 7 flat 5 or D half diminished. And real briefly, if we were to fully diminish it, we would also flatten the 7th, another half step, which would take the C down to a B, but we wouldn't call it B, we would call it C flat or C sharp double flat. It'd be a C flat. We've already got a B in that scale, so it would just be considered a B. Okay? Like I said, we're not going to get into that today, a fully diminished one. We'll do a video on that another day. So now that you know how to play this, this is just one position. There's other positions you can play these. We're going to explain how you can use it just on a basic chord progression. Simple jazz progression is a minor 2-5-1 progression, which the D minor 7 flat 5 is going to be our 2 position. Our 1 position is going to be a C minor 7. And our 5 position will be a G major 7. Okay? If you're not familiar with those, to play the C, you're going to want your index finger and bar right across on the 3rd fret on the A as your root for the C. You take your ring finger, put it on the 5th fret of the D. Like I said, you're going to want to bar this right across so you're covering the 3rd on there. You're going to take your middle finger and put it on the 4th fret of the B string. And if you bar this one right across, that gives you your minor 7th. So there's a C minor 7th, and then you got your half diminished. And then your G major 7 looks a lot like the minor 7 we just did, but you're going to slide it up the strings this way. You're going to take your index finger, bar it across, 3rd fret again. Make sure you get that low E this time. And ring finger on the 5th fret, and then your middle finger on the 4th fret of the G string. Alright, and that's your G major 7. Okay, so for a what we call a minor 2-5-1 progression, we're going to play the 2 first, the D, to the G, to the C minor. Okay, and you can put any type of rhythm you want on it, but very common would be the So there you go. I mean, that's the D minor 7 flat 5, or if you played it down here, C minor 7 flat 5. You can just keep moving this position wherever your index finger is. That's going to be your root. And the easiest way I found to remember how to play this is your D chord. If you're familiar with the D up here, same kind of pattern. You do it here, and then just put your, add that pinky down there. Because it's a minor 7, you can actually work it in intervals of thirds. So you can play like the, and you're doing thirds, which is 1.5 tones between each one. It gives you that really, it builds a lot of tension. Like I said, you'll hear the B minor 7 flat 5, to the D minor 7 flat 5, to the E flat minor 7 flat 5. To the G sharp minor 7 flat 5. It's a good way way to build tension when you're playing in intervals of thirds. But once again, that's a topic for another day. We dig deeper into theory for that. And that progression we just showed you, the minor 2-5-1. It's good to play if you're familiar with some theory and you've already learned your scales. The harmonic minor, the C harmonic minor is great to play over that. Gives you that really kind of sad, gypsy kind of feel. Middle Eastern a little bit. So, like I said, have fun with it. Play around with it, as I say. Nothing's set in stone as far as music goes. There's a lot of rules, and then whatever sounds good, go for it. But there you go. So now you can play one position of the minor 7 flat 5 and half diminished, and it's not as scary as everybody thinks they are. So there you go. Enjoy. Thank you.